Today's training, we are going to be talking about the two main fears and the two main limiting beliefs of the nice guy. Now, something really important for you to understand is that these beliefs and these fears are not in your conscious mind, they are in your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is that part of your brain that store all your memories and all your programs, all your behaviors. Those behaviors were programmed in you, installed in you by events. So an event happened, you learn something from that event, and you develop a belief or a fear or any kind of emotion. Now, those emotions dictate all the behaviors of the nice guy. And by working with a lot of men like you, I just noticed how the fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, and the belief that you must earn love and that I'm not good enough as I am are the main beliefs and fears that the nice guy have. And these are the drivers for all the behaviors that the nice guy have. Now, we are going to start from the first one, which is I must earn love. So, the belief that love is conditional. I'm not worthy of love unless I prove my value. These beliefs form early, often in childhood, when a boy learns that affection or attention comes only when he performs, when he pleases, when he behaves in a certain way. What you start to believe internally is that the idea that love isn't given freely. It must be earned through being good, helpful, or compliant. This is when we start to develop the belief and the habits of being a people pleaser to avoid conflict and disapproval. Over functioning in relationships, so doing too much too soon. The feeling of being resentful when effort is not reciprocated, because what happens is the nice guy has this belief that if he gives, the other person is gonna give back. That's not how other people think that love should be shown. And so there is this conflict inside, and there is disappointment and resentfulness that is built inside yourself because your needs are not being met. The belief becomes a trap. The more he does to be worth it, the more he disconnects from his authenticity and less real intimacy he creates, because you are trying so hard to be a person that you really are not by acting in a way that you don't want to act, but you think that other people want you to act. And so that makes you disconnect from what you really are and who you really are. And you can't create that intimacy with people because you can't get a deep connection. We're gonna see why on the next. We then move to the second limiting belief. The limiting belief that I'm not good enough as I am. There is something fundamentally wrong or broken or shameful about me. This is the belief that the nice guy has. He believes that inside he's not good enough. There is something about himself that he can always do better, always improve. This is the nice guy hidden shame. It's not always obvious. In fact, many nice guys come often as confident, polite, and together. They've got the good job, they've got the good friends, they've got the good car, they know how to speak publicly. Like, they don't look like they are suffering inside, but underneath is a deep fear. If people really know who I am, they would leave. And that is why the nice guy syndrome is just an identity that you're adopting. You have this belief, so you want to perform, to be perfect, to always look like you are on top of your shit, so that people believe that, oh, look at that guy, he's got his life together, he's such a nice guy. But what the nice guy is also always doing is constantly self-edit himself to be more likable or acceptable. I also call this shape shifting because you just want to fit in, so you adopt the shape that the environment asks you to be. You avoid vulnerability or deep connection, and that's why it's very difficult to create intimacy even in a relationship or a friendship. He struggled with imposter syndrome or chronic self-doubt. Why? Because he believes that he's not good enough, and even though he's doing great, inside he's got this belief. So he thinks, oh, I'm just pretending. And on one side, he's right. He is just pretending to be this nice guy. And chronic self-doubt because he's always doubting himself and always overthinking things, always thinking that he can do better. To manage this belief, the nice guy often builds a false self, a version of himself he thinks the world will accept, and hides behind it. Again, the identity that he creates, the wall that he put up, with a nice graffiti, so everyone sees that and no one sees who's really behind. Fear of rejection. The fear of rejection is, if I show my real self, I will be rejected, judged, or unloved. I would like to invite you, and you may have already seen it, how all these things really are connected. These beliefs and these fears are all connected with each other. So this fear runs deep in the nice guys. Rejection isn't just unpleasant, it's dangerous to their nervous system. Many learn through family dynamics or early relationship that love could be withdrawn at any moment. This fear causes chronic avoidance of conflict, so you never want to rock the boat because you know that if you rock the boat, your mom doesn't speak to you anymore, and that may be the root cause of your problem. And so when you get into relationships, if you've learned when you were young that if you speak up and you enter a conflict, people don't give you love anymore, what you do in relationship is you never rock the boat. You suppress your needs, desire, and opinions because, again, you don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to create conflict, you don't want to seem needy because that's what you think you may be if you express what your desires and needs are, or opinions. Saying yes when they want to say no. This is a big problem for the nice guy. Even though if they are looking to get with a girl, what they are gonna try to do is say yes to everything she bring up. Like, let's go to a pub, let's go to a club, let's go here, let's go there, and you're always gonna be yes, yes, yes. What this causes is you are not gonna be able to be a leader. Because if you always say yes, if you never state your opinions, if you never say what you want, how are you going to lead in a relationship? And when you can't lead in a relationship, there is a problem that comes up. The female, the mate, or your partner, she's not gonna be attracted to you because you can't lead her. You think that leadership means control. Leadership doesn't absolutely mean control. Leadership means saying, let's go here at this time, I'll take you out for dinner. She wants to go for dinner. You're not like taking her out for dinner against her will, unless she's sick. But you're doing something nice and you're leading into the relationship. You are deciding where to go to eat. You're not gonna say, oh, whatever, it's fine with me, just decide. That's when the women gets annoyed, and this is the reason why they want to be led. Fear of abandonment. The fear of abandonment is another very funny one. If I stop being who they want me to be, they will leave me. This is what the nice guy believes. Underneath his actions is a core terror. Being left, being alone, being forgotten. This fear drives him to become wherever he thinks the other person wants. To be perfect, agreeable, helpful, never too much. Why? Because these are all the programs that you learned when you were a kid. When your mom or your dad or whoever you raised you were telling you, oh, what a good boy, and giving you the treat, giving you the toy, buying you the thing because you've been a good boy, what you internalized may have been, oh, if I'm good, if I'm helpful, if I do this, if I do that, I'm gonna get X. And that's why you behave the way you behave. The results of this is becoming emotionally dependent on your partner validation, because you're always trying to make someone else happy, so they tell you, oh, well done, good job. And this brings a lot of people-pleasing behavior and everything else. Feeling anxious when connection is uncertain. For example, if you enter a conflict, your connection with the other person is shaking because you are not having an agreement. And that makes you feel anxious. And that's also why you avoid conflicts and you try to always people please and make everyone happy. Staying in an unhealthy or one-sided relationship out of fear. You're so afraid of being by yourself, of being abandoned, of being rejected, that you prefer betray yourself and just stay in that relationship, even though it hurts, even though it's one-sided, and the one-sided is yours. You are putting all the effort in, you're not receiving nothing from the other side. Most relationships are gonna fail. But the point is, you need to be true to yourself, you need to be grounded in who you are, and you need to be able to state what you think. Otherwise, you will be in relationships that you don't really want to be, but you're too afraid of getting out, or you don't know how to get out. Now, these 4 psychological roots that we just saw, the 2 fears and the 2 limiting beliefs, are what create the nice guy identity. A man who is out of touch with his needs, deeply afraid of authenticity, of showing who he is, and constantly trying to earn love instead of receiving it freely. Because I agree with the fact that men needs to have something going on in their life in order for them to be loved. What does that mean? That a man that sits on the couch and has nothing going on is not very attractive, and that's completely normal. That's the definition of a loser. The point is, once you enter the relationship because your partner is attracted to you, the love that is given should be unconditional. I love you for who you are. But if the other person never knows who you are, if you're always performing and trying to be perfect, that's the person she's gonna love, because she doesn't know that you are pretending to be that person. And when you're not that person, or when you lose your temper, she's gonna be like, oh my God, who's this person? And she's gonna see a part of you that she didn't know. Now, that ugly part that she's gonna see, it's not who you really are. That part is just the suppression of the emotions that you had inside and that you didn't express at the right time, and they are just exploding. What looks like on the outside like a really good guy is often a man deeply disconnected from himself, managing shame, trying to hide it, avoiding pain because pain is painful, and living from fear instead of truth, instead of love. A lot of men enter relationships, and because of these fears and these limiting beliefs, they are just acting by fears. Everything they do is driven by fear instead of being driven by love. Instead of giving from overflow, they give from a place of scarcity.